Kia ora everyone, Murray here. Now, because we're in lockdown, I've decided to take the opportunity to read a few stories to you. This is the second one that I want to read to you. Now, before I actually show you or start to read, I want to actually mention the publishing house that it comes from. About 2-3 years ago, I discovered this wonderful publishing house based in New Zealand, in Wellington in fact, called Gecko Press. Now what Gecko Press does is that they look all around the world and they find the best of children's literature that they can, and then they translate it into English so that New Zealand children like you guys can actually enjoy and appreciate it. I love their books because they're just so quirky, they're so interesting, and they take me into countries that I've never been to. For instance, this book here is one of theirs, Alfreda, about a very vain sheep. That, in fact, comes from an Austrian writer. As does the other one that I want to show you, Donkeys, which is by two Austrian writers about these dear old donkeys that have actually been together for many years and actually love each other very, very much. You might want to read one of these two or both of them at some time, but the one that I want to read to you today is called The Kiosk, and it's by Anete Melece. I hope I'm saying her name right. If I'm not, please forgive me. Now, Anete Melece actually comes from a country called Latvia. Latvia is very close to Russia. Okay, so she's written this beautiful book about a woman, I can't think of her name, we'll discover it in a bit, who actually lives in and runs a kiosk. Do you all know what a kiosk is? It's quite hard to explain because they're not that common in New Zealand. They're usually in the centre of a very bustling city, and they're like a little shed, a little building in which someone sits inside it. You can see her there, she's sitting inside it, and they sell things like newspapers or confectionery or magazines, the sort of things that people who are really in a hurry in a big city would like to stop and buy. Now, this very, very quirky story about this woman here and her kiosk. I'm not sure what city it is, but I just love the whole thing. One of the things that I love is the colours. Look at those beautiful pastel colours. Now let's open it up and we can see her there. I'm just going to turn over to see if I can find her name. Oh yeah, of course. Her name is Olga. Olga. So there's Olga sitting in her kiosk because she remembers she doesn't just work there, she also lives there. Look at all the colourful things she's got inside, all the things that she's likely to sell. Oh, there's the window, of course, that she would actually sell through. There she is, very contentedly having a bit of a chew on some of her confectionery, but also looking at this travel book, which in fact makes me think, I wonder how content she is with her life. I wonder if in fact that whole notion of travel is really important to her. Let's find out about Olga and her kiosk and what happens to her. Olga has been living and working at the kiosk for a long, long time. Maybe too long. We can see there some of the things that she sells. We can see that it's got socks and glue and other useful things. Something for women and men and children and cats and dogs. I can see those very colourful magazines around her kiosk. And of course there she is going out to get the newspapers to sell inside the kiosk. So there she is at her kiosk. She greets her regular customers kindly and knows exactly what each one wants. The man with the crazy dog, he buys the morning paper. The sad woman searches magazines for advice. The crying toddler can only be calmed down with a lollipop. Olga knows that, and the toddler knows that she knows. The woman with a hair in a bun likes fishing, cats and politics. The man in sunglasses reads the horoscopes and buys lotto tickets. At 10:35 each morning, a runner buys a bottle of water. There he is. And tourists can never find their own way to the Modern Art Museum. There she is showing them, telling them. Some people don't buy anything. They just want to stop and talk. I'm not sure if that whole queue is stopping to talk or that's the talker and everyone else is impatient because they want to buy. So there it is at night. Remember, she's inside. In the evenings, after work, Olga sometimes feels wistful. Wistful. Do you know what wistful means? She's dreamily thinking. She reads about faraway places. She can't get out of the kiosk, but she dreams of distant seas with splendid sunsets. There she is, looking pretty content as she's dreaming of those distant sunsets. One morning, the newspapers are dropped off a little further away than usual. While Olga is pulling them into the kiosk, some boys sneak up to steal things. "Hey!" she calls out. Just like that, Olga's world trips upside down. So there she is inside that kiosk and it's fallen over. Olga turns to put everything back the way it was. But she discovers that she can lift the kiosk. It moves with her. She decides to go for a walk. So there she is walking, There she is there, there she is there, there she is there. Yeah, there's the guy that stops to get his water. He's looking at her, can't believe what he's seeing. That looks like the woman that buys the magazines to get advice. Wonder if that's the little girl down there that wants the lollipops. There she is walking. Along the way, Olga meets the man with the crazy dog. You remember him? What's he say? "Down, Rambo." The dog is pleased to see her. Oops! Well, you can see what's happened, The rope is twisted round her legs. I'm imagining what's going to happen. There they are on that bridge. Oh yes, I was right. Straight into the water. The kiosk keeps her afloat, and the river carries Olga far, far away. So there she is there, going through to there, going through to there, even to there. That's our clue, Olga floats peacefully for 3 days and 3 nights until a giant wave washes her ashore. Now, Olga lives at the seaside, selling ice cream, and every evening she watches the sunset splendidly. I look at the people there. That's many of the people that bought things from her kiosk when she was in the city. There they are there, hey? Yeah, I've got a feeling that's the guy that was running. That's the guy and his dog, the lady giving the advice. I'm not quite sure who the others there, but they're all there. And there she is, looking wistfully, not at her magazine anymore, but at that beautiful sunset. Look at those amazing colours, hey? So that's it, guys. It's not a complicated book. It's very simple, but I think it's beautiful. And do you know, one of the reasons I love this book so much is when it actually stops and says, if I can find it after the boy, yeah, right halfway through, just like that, Olga's world tips upside down. I love the notion of that life can be going on and then something very dramatic happens and your world tips upside down. Now in Olga's case, it literally tips upside down. But I'm thinking of other things as well. You know, someone comes to see you, or something happens to you, or something happens to someone else, either real or imaginary, and your life can be tipped upside down. Hey, you can just enjoy that story for what it is, just as I am. Or you might even want to use it to actually have a go at writing a story about either your own life or someone else's, where actually something tips upside down and life goes in a completely different direction. If you decide to write from it, have fun with it. Otherwise, I hope you've really, really enjoyed it. Thanks.